All right, well, good morning. I would like to call the Friday, September 1st, 2017 special called meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you take roll call, please?
Mr. Connolly.
Here.
Ms. Gator. Here. Ms. Egan.
Awake, here.
Ms. Hazard.
Here.
Ms. Healy.
Here.
Mr. Hirons.
Here.
Mr. McCosker. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
All right.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. As you can see, we have one item for information, but the reason we are here is because we need to move it to action based on our timing. So it's to approve our lease with Mary Washington, which we had budgeted the $200,000. Are there any questions or concerns about the lease?
How many square feet are we leasing?
I can only tell you by floor, the floor, but let's see, wait a minute, hold on. I'd have to look it up.
It's roughly a little over 10,000.
Okay, cool.
It's the entire first floor, excluding the conference area, and then we have 4 offices upstairs
Cool, okay.
for counselors and for some admin workers.
How long is the term?
The term is 1 year base with 4 option years. The first year obviously doesn't
It says
go.
11 months.
The first year is obviously doesn't start until August, until today, our 1st of September. And so the first year's not quite 12 months, but the preceding 4 years are each a 12-month period.
Okay,
We were
thanks.
trying to start it 1st of July, but we just weren't able to
Gotcha.
get that. So,
Is the rent going to be the same when it's 12 months as when it's 11 months?
yes, ma'am.
Does it escalate the following year?
It potentially is going to be negotiated on an annual basis.
Okay,
We actually moved in, the 1st of August. So we've actually been there with our folks moving in. It's just trying to compile. So we were acting under kind of an informal agreement,
Right.
per se, for the last 3 weeks. But University of Mary Washington was pretty adamant to have a signed lease prior to students arriving.
okay. Fair enough, thanks.
I felt that way as well. We had our attorney, I believe, reviewing the lease.
Mr. Rand, we had
We had
legal counsel.
we had legal counsel.
Oh, yes,
Right.
ma'am, absolutely. Reed Smith reviewed the document. They provided a cursory review about 3 weeks ago to get us moving forward. And then the last week or so, they've been deeply involved in the actual review of the document from a lease perspective.
Good use of space.
I'm just wondering, because this is for 11 months, it just says it's annually renewed. So what would the renewal terms be? Shouldn't it say it's going to renew on August 1st?
It does. In the latter part,
I'm looking at paragraph 17, but I'm just glancing at it now. It says it's going to automatically renew. Of course, we can give 60 days notice, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so
It says it's going to automatically renew, but since it's for 11 months, I'm just wondering
it does say
what that
up
does
the-
for us.
It does say for the up for 4 12-month renewals terminating
That's
June
correct.
30. I know, I got to do my math, too.
So is the 12-month, I see, this says that the term begins on August 1st. Well, we really can't, I don't think we should enter into a lease that starts August 1st. I think we should enter in a lease that starts September 1st.
What did the attorney, I'm sure that this was part
That's-
of the negotiating and why this
Will the
became
teachers-
problematic.
Will the teachers not be in there prior to school starting?
They've been there.
Well, but we're doing a retroactive lease. That's a little
Correct. That's-
unusual, especially for a commercial lease. I mean,
Well,
Well,
if we've already been there.
No, I think the reason why it's August 1st is because that's when we moved in. So, so we've actually been in the premises since August 1st.
beginning on August 1st.
Are there any restrictions on here that would prevent any of the programs that we have from being fully implemented?
No, not at all. Obviously, there's some language in there that, if any damage is done, due to our cause, we're responsible for that. Some of those items, but there's nothing that would prevent us. In fact, the university has worked very closely with us to allow or give the flexibility in the lease for us to expand our program in terms of things we offer our students as part of the alternate education program, gardening, recreation activities,
Oh, cool.
because we
Okay.
don't know exactly what we want to do. We have some ideas, because I know we had some gardening programs at the former Walker Grant Middle School down in Fredericksburg, and we want to replicate that, but we just don't know exactly where and how. And so as we feel our way through operating in that facility. So they've been very gracious in kind of generically identifying that as part of the lease to allow us to do that. So.
Dr. Benson, is there any comment from Ms. Cavatayo or anything? I mean, she, I know, is fairly comfortable with this and going forward, the flexibility that they've offered. I know some of their concerns initially were use of the items of the classrooms, that they had kind of dedicated space, and we seem, and Mary Washington did work with us on that. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
I think we've mitigated concerns that Ms. Cavatayo has. Of course, until we become operational, I mean, there's not to say there are things that we might have to deal with as we bring our young people into the space, but it's such a much improved space over where they have been working before, so we're excited about it.
I think what's exciting too is Mary Washington being able to work with us and allow that dedicated space and stuff. So I am hopeful, and the board knows this from my prior comments. I hope this is a partnership we continue, not just on space, but maybe in the instructional and maybe some other areas. So I hope this is just sort of a first step with us working with Mary Washington on a broader basis.
I just want to confirm for the record, since it says it's 11 months and it's 200,000, that the intent is that the 200,000 be for the annual fee, because I see we have to negotiate in good faith, a rent for the forthcoming years if we exercise the option. But I don't want it to be, the 200,000 was for 11 months, so we're going to have to start our base at 200,000 plus
That's correct.
whatever it would be.
Yes, correct. Yes, ma'am.
15,000 more, and then start looking at that, because it says the intention is it's not going to be less. But just so, we are absolutely clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That the 200,000
It-
is the rent for 12 months, and
Yes.
that's the base we're going to start negotiating on
We are.
next year, not for 11 months, but for 12.
That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great clarification, and like I said. All right, any further questions or comments? All right, hearing none, this is an information item, so
Madam Chair, move 201 to action.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The item has been moved to action.
Madam Chair, move 201 for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final comments? Ms. Healy?
Just want to have it on the record that our attorneys have advised us we can't enter into a retroactive lease. Just want to make that clear. And in that
Thank you.
event, I will support it.
Yep, I agree with that. All right, any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all for coming. We will enter into the lease, and everybody have a great long weekend. Meeting is adjourned. Woo-hoo.